sack. Chris Jones smokes Phillip Rivers right back at the 40.
He's not banking on the skill that he's been blessed with.
He goes up the right seam, 25-20, touchdown, Kareem Hunt. He's around Standing, look at him go, impossible, touchdown, Kansas City. Carr's in trouble, he is going to be pulled down and sacked, Justin Houston.
Unforgettable day. The Chiefs get the victory 26-14, but at 11 o'clock when the 21 bells rang and every player on the field stopped, BJ, it's a moment I'll never forget.
Yeah, I know you talked about this all week. It was one of those stories that we were going to talk about and all the things that were going on, but there were a handful of special moments. That was one of them. The Black Daggers coming down and bringing the game ball, parachuting down on the field before halftime or before kickoff was special as well.
All right, Chiefs get the victory 26-14. This is kind of the definition of complementary football Andy Reid brought to Kansas City in 2013. That's the way the game began. Less than a minute, boom, Tyreek Hill from Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, so much is made about the coin toss and who's going to get the ball first. To get the ball first, you're wondering how they're going to respond. They go 3 plays, 75 yards, get the touchdown. You're like, okay, this is what we're used to seeing. And then we saw later in the game, the offense kind of slowed it down a little bit, and the defense had to step up. And after that, Cardinals' first drive, they go 12 plays, 75 yards, get the touchdown. Their next 3 drives, Mitch, was 12 plays, just 23 total yards. So a lot's made about this defense. When they need to step up, they did step up, and a lot of it had to do with the pressure.
Yeah, let's talk about that because we're going to talk to some defensive guys coming up in the show. The Houston interception, him and Sorensen to be back, but that pick flipped the game.
That's the biggest play of the game. It's 2014 at that time. You're getting late. You're starting to get a little nervous. You start looking at the scoreboard. You feel like it's more than a 6-point game, but at the end of the day, you look up and you're one big play, one game-changing play away from it being a whole different ball game. But you had to feel good about, obviously, that play, but the pressure that they were able to get. You know Josh Rosen is going to feel this game tomorrow. I think there was a stretch there on 2 drives where like 6 different guys hit him. Breland Speaks had a huge hit. D Ford had a game that we're used to seeing from D Ford now. Justin Houston, Allen Bailey, Chris Jones, everybody got in the mix. There was a lot of pressure. Give Bob Sutton and those guys a lot of credit. Whether it was the defensive back like Ron Parker, Kendall Fuller getting after it, there were a lot of pressure brought on Josh Rosen today.
D Ford might be the MVP of the AFC on defense. So guys, big day here. Chiefs go to 9-1.
For the defense, they continue to improve. You got to see a little Ben Neiman out there today.
Yeah, it was good to get him out there. I thought he did some good things. He'll learn from it. There were some things he could do better, but I thought he did a nice job.
Also really good to get Justin Houston and Daniel Sorensen back out there. Justin gets an INT in the game. Talk about those two.
Yeah, that was a 1-score game at that time, so that was big for us. We were able to get a score out of it, put it up by a couple scores. So, but it was great to get him out there, and Danny too. I mean, both of them got some good work in, probably even more than I thought they would. But they kept themselves in good shape when they were away from it.
Sure seems like the switch is flipped for D Ford. He has a big stop on an end around. Can you tell me, what's D Ford this season? What's different?
Yeah, I think it's just been he's healthy, and so that's always been kind of the curve there that he had to jump up and over, and he's done that. He's playing real good football. He's doing a nice job with his study habits, his work habits, keeping his weight where it needs to be, all the things that you need to do, and most of all, he hasn't been banged up, and he's having a heck of a year for it.
Again, congratulations on the victory today. An interesting week coming up this week as we head to Mexico. Can you tell me, what's the coming week going to be like?
Yeah, so the guys, they get a couple days here where they rest up, come in and get some film stuff done. But other than that, we get ready for the Monday night game, and we'll treat it like a normal week as we go. It's not as far as you think. When you say Mexico, you go, whoa, man, we're going, to another country. And so, but we're right there. So it's not too far as the plane trip goes. But we've got to have a good week of practice. We've got a good football team that we're playing, and it should be a heck of an environment for a football game.
Yeah, I can't wait to talk about this upcoming game the whole week coming up. We'll have a lot of time to do that, obviously. For now, let's talk about the new record holder himself, Patrick Mahomes, and the game he played. Again, under pressure a lot this game. You saw some of the offensive line injuries maybe catch up a bit with them. But what did you like from Mahomes?
Well, I liked his composure. And the one thing you recognize about Patrick Mahomes, although he's very young, he's still a guy that recognizes defenses. He recognizes how to exploit defenses. He recognizes how to move guys in ways that benefit him and benefit this offense. They got a little creative early on in the game. They made a conscious effort to get Tyreek Hill the ball, and he was able to capitalize.
When you're sitting there on the doorstep, as you see the numbers, pretty good.
Yes.
Are you thinking about that, or are you able to actually zone that part of it out?
I think you're able to zone it out. If you're as young as he is,
Yes.
to me, you're in a position where you recognize I'll have multiple opportunities to surpass this number. I'll have opportunities to get past this number and obviously recognize a lot of records that the Chiefs have in the passing realm. But to me, Patrick Mahomes went about his business in a fine way. He did it in an exceptional fashion, being able to distribute the ball all around and take advantage of what the Cardinals defense gave him.
All right, Patrick Mahomes, 21 of 28. One more question for you real quick. We saw him move around a bit today as well. The sliding looks better. Do you think he's improving, though, as a runner? And are the Chiefs maybe finding out better ways to involve his legs?
I think he's just recognizing opportunities. That's where film study comes into play. He'll go back and watch film and recognize, hey, I threw this ball away, or I took this unnecessary chance when I could have scampered for 5, 6, 10 yards. He's growing as a player. You're going to see more of those plays develop as the season unfolds.
Let's talk about the guy who really helped him out on the other side, Justin Houston, number 50, first game back in a couple weeks. Here he is, talking one-on-one. He's next.
Chiefs 20, Cardinals 7, 2:37 left, first half. Snap back to Rosen. In trouble, he's headed, the ball flies free. Knocked down by the Arizona Cardinals, and they will recover it all the way back at the 46. The Chiefs had a chance to get it. It was jumped on by Mason Cole, the center, the rookie out of Michigan.
Yes, it was awesome to see him back. Welcome back to the field, Justin. And then just your interception. But how good was it to be back on the field today?
It felt good to be back out there with the guys, just to play out those guys and feel the energy those guys play with. It's nothing like that. I hate sitting on the sideline. I love being out there with my guys.
We're used to seeing you making game-changing plays. The interception you had, can you just kind of walk us through what your read was, what you saw, and how you were able to make that play?
It's just film studying. As I was bullying the tackle, I felt the guard and the running back released inside, so I knew right then it was a screen. When I came out the tackle, I saw the ball in the air, so I was just in good position, thank God.
I mentioned this, I talked about it with Sorensen, the whim defense when it matters most. What about you guys stepping up at the most critical of times?
I think that's big for us as a whole, as a defense. We know we haven't been playing our best defense, so to get this going right now at this moment, and we need to continue to build on this to get where we need to get. Our goal is the Super Bowl, so right now we're playing against ourselves every week. We got goals in mind, so we just want to continue to build and help that offense, because that offense, they can score at will. So if we can get the defense to stop the offense and get in the ball, the sky's the limit for us.
Seems like you guys got into rhythm in the second half where you wanted to get to Rosen, you were getting to Rosen at will. Just how dangerous is this group when you guys can all get healthy and you all come together like you did today there for a while?
I think it's very dangerous. We just got to continue to work, continue to stay on the same page, and continue to stay focused. Don't let this get to our head, and just keep our head down, keep sawing wood.
I say this all the time, but just the position you play, how much is on your plate. You do a terrific job of holding the edge, but as you move forward in the week by week at that spot, the impact you can have on this team.
It can change the game. As long as we can put pressure on the quarterback, make the quarterback uncomfortable, keep his feet jittery, that's big for our DBs and our linebackers. We can't let a quarterback get comfortable, so it helps us out as a whole.
Welcome back, Justin Houston. Some numbers for you real quick, all right? 14, 21, 23, 10. That's the points allowed by the Chiefs since the big game in New England when they gave up 43. Things have turned around here. I think number 50, obviously a big part, but they even had this going before he got back. The D-line, is that where the heart and soul of this defense is right now?
Absolutely. Everything starts in the trenches. The D-line, the O-line for the offense, and the fact that we have talked amongst this show more about the defense than we're talking about the offense tells you about the growth of this team. This defense has really grown in regards to how they're producing on the field, what they're imposing upon opposing offenses, and how they're dictating the game. The fact that they've been able to get better each and every week these last 4 weeks has been phenomenal. This is what we wanted to see. Offense, defense, and special teams can't be the best in the league consistently through 16 weeks of the season. Somewhere, somehow, teams have to grow. This defense has really grown so far.
Let's see the biggest play from the game, our pivotal moment in this one. It is Justin Houston's interception. And look, David Johnson, the screen game is important. Do you think he kind of knew that?
Yeah, absolutely. Coming into this game, the Arizona Cardinals was one of the best teams in the screen game. So you had to know what they were going to do, what they were going to try to do in getting the ball out of the hand of Josh Rosen pretty quickly. This is an amazing job. Justin Houston hasn't played in several weeks, and yet he still has those instincts to make those type of big plays. Not able to get to the quarterback, but still able to make a big play.
With him, I mean, look, D. Ford said before the season, he looks as healthy as he was back when he had the record-setting sack season. I don't know if you can tell in one game, but how healthy did he look to you?
Oh, he looked very healthy. He looked quick off the edge. He looked like he had a strong bull rush. He looks like and still an imposing force on the defense. And when you have a speed guy like D. Ford on the opposite side, you have a power guy like Justin Houston, that makes it very uncomfortable for other quarterbacks to try to deal the ball down the field. This offense wasn't very efficient against this Chiefs defense, in part because the front four guys did their job today.
We asked D. Ford what it was like, what kind of pressure it took off him having Houston back. He said, a lot. A lot. We're going to hear from more players coming up inside the locker room next year on Chiefs Rewind.
The Chiefs' defense was unstoppable today. They finished with 5 sacks, 12 hits on Cardinals quarterback Josh Rosen. The most pivotal part of the game, though, probably came on Justin Houston's interception, swaying the momentum in favor of the Chiefs' offense and eventually ending in a Spencer Ware touchdown to put this team up by 12 points. Now, this team may not have played their best game against the Cardinals, but a double-digit win, now that they're 9-1, is all they can ask for. What was your takeaway from this game? Obviously, people looking at this game say that their offensive line was struggling coming into it, but you were just a force to be reckoned with, as were most of the guys up front.
Like I said, man, we know what we're capable of, especially if that's where they struggle. But regardless if they don't, this is the strong suit of our defense. So each and every week, we wanted to get after the quarterback that way.
You had a huge play where you sniffed out the end around, and you were already in the backfield ready for that. Take me through that.
Well, we just understand as a defensive end, once anything goes away from you, you have pretty much 3 rules, which is wind back, boot, and reverse. So it's really just me playing my fundamentals, great coaching. You just make plays.
To have Justin Houston back out there today, how big was that?
Huge, huge. It's good luck. I mean, you can't step up, you can't roll out. Have to get rid of it quick if you don't. We're amazing inside, too, so it was fun, man.
It was a good win. Like Coach said, there's a lot of things out there, distractions, and we buckled down and, like I said again, played Chiefs football.
What is the reaction like when you have so many guys that end up with sacks and are making big plays on this defense? Does it add juice to you guys as the game goes on?
Absolutely. When you got good pass rushers and everybody's rattling the quarterback, man, that's a great sign. You don't want quarterbacks in this league. They're too good to just sit back there and throw the ball, so that's a great sign.
The offense is able to pick the defense up, and today you guys were able to pick the offense up, late in the game, kind of almost a turning point. You guys get a big interception, and the offense is able to punch it in. How big was that for you guys to, they're having a struggling day, and you were able to pick them up?
Like I said, man, every win isn't going to be pretty in this league. It's hard to win games here, no matter you're at home or away. So, we got to compliment each other. Offense having a bad day, defense got to step it up. Defense having a bad day, offense going to step it up. So we compliment each other.
Okay, out of fairness, let's name somebody, Danon, not on the D-line, on this defense, who impacted this game. If you can think of one guy who might have.
Oh, man, you
tough
told me
question.
a little curveball because I was
know.
very impressed with the D-line, probably for the first time all season. But I guess, just the fact that you had guys like Steven Nelson come through in the back end, Ron Parker with the big sack coming from the secondary, I guess I'd go with those guys. They shut down this offense. Let's face it, Josh Rosen is still a work in progress. He's a rookie that's still trying to find his way in the NFL, but the defense didn't allow him any life. And to me, that was spectacular.
It's a team game.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying, D-line, not just them out there. I'm trying, guys. Let's check out what you guys thought about this on Twitter, because that's always fun. Our social media reactions. Jeremy Maclin, the former Chief. Let this sink in. Cheetah hasn't even scratched the surface of how good he's going to be as a wide receiver. D. Ford might agree with you. And Justin Houston is...
Whoa, he's not a return guy?
The return specialist.
Oh, he's not a return specialist? My bad.
Okay, my goodness, Patrick Mahomes just threw that ball 3 yards before Hill had ever turned around. Dan Orlovsky, he's the film guru. And then, okay, I just had to say it. I'm worried. Not that I'm always the camera guy, but Tyreek's coming for my job. The shot he got, you get a happy Eric Fisher.
Yeah.
He kind of pointed the camera a bit. What's the most obnoxious celebration you've seen? Because we had Michael Thomas with the cell phone, the Joe Horn recreation. Give me a fun one that you've seen.
I mean, I'll go back. Or you go back to Chad Ochocinco and using the pylon as a putter and golf and some of the river dance and some of those different things. I mean, there was some obnoxious celebrations back in the day, but I liked the cell phone. Obviously, Joe Horn was a former teammate of mine here in Kansas City. So going back to the cell phone underneath the pylon to me, or the goalpost, I think that was special.
You know what? It's incentive for these guys to just keep scoring. They practice these celebrations. It's working. Why not?
Yeah.
Keep it going. Dan Sorensen, welcome back as well to him. We're going to hear from him coming up one-on-one next.
Second and 10, Chiefs at their own 27. Handoff right up the middle, 35-yard line as Kareem Hunt gets across the 40 and up to the 44. Dragging a Cardinal, Trey Boston, for 4 more yards and a run of 17. Hey, a day with the defense had to step up today. The Chiefs get the win over the Cardinals, 26-14. How about this guy? Set on the air, sight for sore eyes. How good was it to be back out there?
Man, it was a little scary at first, but, I got right back in the groove. No, it was a blast being out there with the fans, with the players, with the guys, making some plays. It's just what I've been working for these last couple weeks, so I'm glad to see it happen today.
I was watching you early. He kind of was like testing it looked like. And we were talking like, well, he's testing it. So as the game went on, did it feel better and better?
Yeah, I was able to just kind of focus into the game and not have to worry about my knee and how it was going to hold up. So that was the biggest thing for me today, is get out there, test it, feel confident on it, and, start making some plays. So
I call this defense the whim defense, when it matters the most. I'm going to ask you about the interception by Justin Houston. It's a one-possession game at that point, and just how that turned the catalyst the rest of the game.
Yeah, and just getting Justin back for this game was big too. But you see him making a huge play right there, like you said, change the whole momentum of the game. But that's what you can see, that the potential of this defense. As we start moving on, we're going to keep getting better and better and better. And as long as we keep guys healthy and stuff, we're going to keep making those kind of plays and make a nice, strong push towards the end of the season.
It seems like the corners are playing with more confidence. What about Steven Nelson? Now picks in 2 straight weeks.
Yeah, Steve's kind of coming into his own, and it's fun to watch. He's playing very confident, playing aggressive, and you're seeing that. He's starting to get picks. We know that he's been close, and he knows that, and they're just going to start coming. They say they come in bunches, and so don't be surprised if you see Steve, keep this streak going and get a couple more.
And then the pressure. We're going to talk about it throughout the show. Just the relentless pressure and what that does for you guys on the back end.
My goodness, you're sitting back there, man covers, all of a sudden you hear the crowd cheering. It's a huge sigh of relief. Those guys up front did an awesome job today, stopping the run, getting pressure on the quarterback, disrupting him, making him feel uncomfortable. You see some of the throws he's throwing high, it's because guys are in his face, and so they complement each other, the coverage and the rush. So it was a tremendous job by those guys up front today.
Okay, Daniel Sorensen, I'm going to take the L 1 second. I stand corrected. I said 12 QB hits. It was 13. I'm sorry, defensive front. I cut you short, but let's talk about them. Starting off our chief observations, and speaking of number improvement, you think defensive line improvement, this is a big place to start.
Well, it's huge, because I was one of the bigger critics of this D-line earlier in this season. They really hadn't stepped up, were pretty sporadic in how they got pressure on opposing quarterbacks and opened the door for a lot of offenses to put up a lot of yards and points. But the defense has been improving week by week, and the D-line especially, Allen Bailey, Chris Jones, getting pressure pressure up in the middle of the pocket, not allowing the quarterbacks an opportunity to get outside the pocket and make plays or extended drives. Those guys up in the middle have done an outstanding job in growing and has contributed to some of the growth on this defense.
You keep insisting that Dee Ford reminds you of Derek Thomas. This is your second observation. Why?
Because of the speed off the edge. Derek Thomas obviously had an assortment of rush moves, opportunities where he would spin move, but the edge rushing and the fact that you kind of have a feeling that opposing offenses break the huddle and they want to see where number 55 is because of his ability to get to the quarterback. Right there, these last 2 sacks, the last 2 pressures on the quarterback show me just a glimpse of what I used to see in number 58.
And then a staple of a Bob Sutton defense, timely turnover.
Well, the turnovers, obviously Justin Houston coming through with the interception. That was a huge play. We talked about it earlier, being the pivotal play. Proper time, right moment, right place, right time, getting the job done for the defense. But then also the second turnover, the Arizona Cardinals came into this game -5 in turnover ratio. They left this -7. They did an outstanding job, the Chiefs, capitalizing on the mistakes by the young quarterback, flipping the field and taking away the win.
Closer game than maybe some may have expected with the records of these two teams. But again, we're not seeing the team last year that had that losing streak, a couple tough games to some lesser teams. Do you feel like this team is more equipped to not play down to competition, but to be pretty even keel through?
I think it's a little unfair coming into this game to think in the NFL you can have a 17-point spread against another NFL team. To me, that's unheard of. It's uncharacteristic, and it's a little bit unfair against any team. This team played down just a bit to their competition. You would have liked to see them put up the 36-plus points that we've become accustomed to seeing offensively. They weren't on top of their game offensively. They still came away with a double-digit win, but 17 points was a little bit of a stretch for me. The offense played well, the defense played better, and they came away with the win.
Last 17-point spread we saw, Buffalo really took, I think, offense to it and marched into Minnesota and destroyed the Vikings.
Yep.
So you knew the Cardinals might come in a bit of fire in this one, and the Chiefs staved it off, and they get the W. Coming up next, Big Red Andy Reid from the podium on Chiefs Rewind.
I was proud of our guys and the way that they played today. I thought that was a team that was going to give you their best effort today. They did that, and my hat goes off to Steve and the job that he's doing there, working to turn that program around and get it going in the right direction. Again, the 5 sacks I thought were big from our defensive standpoint. We probably had too many from an offensive standpoint. We'll take care of that and make sure we clean up a few things there. But it was, again, all in all, a good game where all 3 phases contributed. Well, the guys were getting off the ball. I mean, even when Justin came out, you saw 57, get a big hit on the quarterback. So it didn't matter necessarily who was out there. The guys they had the snap count down. They were rolling. So, they mixed it up a little bit on us as far as the snap count goes, but they stayed on task with that and worked it out and were able to get off quickly. So. I think I'd tell you it's a mix. It's a mix of we had some blitzes there that I thought were great. You see your secondary players making hits on the quarterback, then you know that's the scheme part. So, listen, he's had a heck of a year. I mean, he's playing his heart out, and I love the backside of that, the preparation and how he goes about his business there, and day in and day out. You guys have a chance to see him at practice early, and he comes out every day. He's bringing energy, and he makes sure that he has his things in order. And when he does that, he's got a lot on his plate as far as responsibility goes to run the offense. So, and he takes care of that, he's in a position where he can make everybody better around him, and he's doing that. So I'm proud of him for how he's going about his business.
Well, what a day. The Chiefs get the victory over the Cardinals, and Patrick Mahomes sets the single-season touchdown passing record. Len Dawson, 55 seasons ago in 1964.
It's not bad that we're 11 games into a career and we're talking about records that Len Dawson has set for over 50 years and Mahomes is breaking them. But he goes out there and 250 yards, couple of touchdowns, just makes it look easy. You talked about the first drive, going down there, getting the score. Now, there were some times there where the Cardinals were getting some pressure, and that's something they're going to have to talk about this week. Luckily, going to the game next week, they're going to have that extra day with the Monday night game down in Mexico City. But there's not like there aren't things they can go back and watch the tape and try to improve upon. But 15 back there stepping up and making plays, not one of them. We saw it again. It's become a consistent thing for a guy that's just 11 games into his career. It's like you're already expecting him every time to go out there and make plays. Yeah,
and here comes Aaron Donald and the Rams. She's going to Mexico City, but there's one extra day to prepare for that game and to heal, really. I just feel like that's a critical day for this team to have one extra 24-hour period.
Yeah, when you have a late bye like we do back not even until week 12. So these guys are going to be looking forward to this game, not just because it's a huge game. It's on national TV against a very good Rams team and all the storylines that come in with that one, but because they're going to get a week off after that game. And this is a group that could use it right now. We know they're banged up at certain positions, and then you come out of training camp and you just keep rolling and rolling and rolling. They've done so good at preparing every week and staying locked in that if they can do it one more week, come out and play well against the Rams and get that time off, it's going to feel so much sweeter going into that bye week after another good performance down there Monday night.
And by the way, New England lost, so it's quickly here. It's really a week. You're playing that game, but you're also playing the scoreboard watch game. I mean, here we are. It's like NCAA basketball in February. You're playing for the 1 seed.
You and I can. You know that those guys in the locker room, don't bring it up, don't ask them about it, because that's not what they're...
But it's real.
But it is very real. And the good thing, you look at the schedule, 3 of the last 4 games are at Arrowhead Stadium. You start thinking about top seeds in the playoffs, having to bring teams here to play at Arrowhead. It's exactly what you want.
Rams next, Mexico City. Unforgettable day here on the 100th anniversary of the original Armistice Day.
Lamar, this has been a good game for the National Football League the last couple of years. Your impressions of playing here in Mexico?
Tremendous. Great experience the last few days for our team, and I'm sure for the Cowboys. And it's just an important area as far as the general interest in sports down here and improving the overall aura of the league.
Lamar Hunt back in 1996. Danon Hughes and the Chiefs taking on the Cowboys, I believe, in that game back in Mexico City. And you traveled. You couldn't play. Sorry about that one. But that experience, what was it like being in Mexico?
Oh, it was great. We had the great fortune of being able to play in Japan twice and Mexico once during my tenure. And to be able to go overseas and play and see the different excitement. It's a different excitement to watch NFL players, obviously Joe Montana in the early part of those years, Marcus Allen throughout the tenure. I think it was a special occasion for a lot of those fans, and as well as us.
A lot of excitement around the country for this game, the game that everyone's been waiting for. Chiefs and Rams, 2 of the best in the NFL, if not the 2 best teams. And we see with the Rams, I mean, a lot of weapons offensively. Where do you start, though? Is it Gurley? Is it Goff? Is it guys on the outside? Where do you start with them?
I think you're going to start on the defensive side. To me, when you have a guy like Aaron Donald, you have Ndamukong Suh up front, that can pose a huge load for opposing offenses. Now, obviously, Jared Goff has done a phenomenal job, and Todd Gurley, you can make an argument that he's the MVP of the NFL thus far between he and Patrick Mahomes. But if this defense for the Rams can pose some problems for Patrick Mahomes and our offense, it could be a long day.
Well, we'll see what happens. Something has to give, right? And the Rams already had that tough loss to the Saints. In fact, both these teams had high-scoring losses to very good teams, with the Chiefs going down to the Pats. But I cannot wait for this one in Mexico City next Monday night. But for now, that'll do it for us. Tom Martin, Danon Hughes here on Chiefs Rewind. And for everybody in our 65 Toss Power Trap studios, thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.
Chiefs Rewind is brought to you by Ford, the official car and truck of the Kansas City Chiefs, and Community America Credit Union, the official banking partner of the Kansas City Chiefs.